Welcome to Baila Travel, a channel for foodies, salseros, y aventureros. Today we're bringing you to the first Pueblo Mágico de Mexico, Izamal, the yellow town of Yucatan. If this is your first time joining us, we just traveled across Veracruz and now we're in the state of Yucatan looking for a place to live. So if you want to join us in our journey, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and hit the bell just so you can follow along. If you have any questions for us on how our journey is going during this pandemic, also comment down below. We are enjoying our time in Mexico. We hope you enjoy the ride with us. Now let's explore this beautiful yellow town of Izamal, Yucatan.
Este es el convento de San Antonio de Padua. This convent was built in the 16th century and it was built right over what used to be a Mayan pyramid, and they used the very same rocks after knocking down that pyramid to rebuild this convent and then painted it yellow. As beautiful as this is, it's also a heart-wrenching reminder of the oppression and the erasure of Mayan religion that used to stand before here. The town does its best to preserve what they still can, but these are still important pieces of history and they are beautiful, so we're here to enjoy it as much as we are to enjoy the Mayan culture.
Today it's safe to assume that most of Izamal's 16th century buildings were built from Maya ruins. Some establishments aren't painted yellow and they're left that way to admire the Mayan stones they will build from. So why is Izamal yellow? Join us on this carriage ride to find out.
Les presento a Chiquilín, nuestro guía de hoy.
Conocido como ciudad de las tres culturas, la cultura maya, la española y el mestizo.
The carriage ride includes a tour of the city, visiting pyramids and climbing pyramids. The weather was easily 105 degrees, so after a couple of minutes we were ready to cool off. For the heat.
Thank you, that's exactly what I needed.
Señorita.
Salud! So perfect.
I used to think it was a myth to drink beer to cool off, but it's no myth. Now when it's this hot.
Esta pirámide tiene por nombre Zamatul. Zamatul tiene el mismo significado que Izamal, porque el nombre original de Izamal era Itzmal, parte de esta pirámide Zamatul, que significa rocío que cae del cielo. Este templo maya está dedicado al sacerdote Sabna, que es el dios de la sabiduría. Sabna. Sabiduría. Es el Kinich Kakmó, guacamaya de rostro solar.
Tour guide let us stop and climb the biggest pyramid in Izamal. This is Kinich Kakmó, which is dedicated to the god of the sun. It was built somewhere between 400 and 600 BC. It's known to be one of the oldest structures in the Americas that still stands today. Characteristics are the large rocks that are one of the most impressive characteristics are the large rocks that were used to build the pyramid. So to think that this has stood for thousands of years, it's really impressive. I think from what we read, they've only begun restoring it and preserving it starting in the 16th century. And it's a really good thing that they did because we also read that this is one of the most important structures in Mesoamerica. Very cool. Love me a good challenge to climb a pyramid. Do this.
More tennis shoes. They don't fall down, I think you're gonna have a heart attack.
The blocks are really narrow. Barely fit.
Mayan people are short. They have little tiny feet. Maybe they will do the shorter then.
These look like a rock climbing wall. They're not even leveled like these. These are nice and level.
I don't think you should climb it like that.
I need you to
Use both hands.
coming down is gonna be the issue. This has to be the tallest point in the city. If not, maybe that tower at the church, but man, what a gorgeous view. No entrance fee, you just get to come in and enjoy this beautiful structure. feel like I should have paid to come in. This is awesome. I think we're really lucky to have pyramids preserved like this because there are so many that were torn down by Spanish conquistadores. So it's super interesting to see how some get to survive, whereas others have been transformed into Christian churches.
All about managing your life, man, you know?
Yeah. Balance, like this.
Yeah,
I feel like I should be crab walking it down.
I'll let you take your girl. I jump like that, I'm finished. I'm now you might down 911 3 times. I ain't getting nothing.
Okay, that was fun, but we're still wondering why this town is so yellow.
Here's what we learned from our tour guide. After the Spanish built the convent in 1562, the community of Izamal decided to paint the convent yellow and white to pay homage to the Mayan god of corn. The entire town was already yellow when the Pope arrived in 1993, which brings us to our next theory. The second theory is that the arrival of John Pope II in 1993 prompted the community to paint the convent yellow to honor the colors of the Vatican flag. Some Izamal locals disagree with this theory, but do acknowledge that the arrival of the Pope helped Izamal become the first Pueblo Magico of Mexico in 2001.
On our way to lunch, we noticed some interesting carvings on some of the buildings. We thought it was art, but it turned out to be a little bit more than that.
Before they established a numerical system for the streets in Izamal, they used to call this street La Esquina del Gallo. Apparently here in Izamal, there's a couple of streets that they still hold to those identities. There's La Calle del Venado, La Calle del Gallo, as far as we know so far. If you're ever walking around Izamal and you're lost or you're looking for a specific place, ask anybody, ¿Dónde está la esquina del gallo? And they'll point you in the right direction. Came out to eat to La Conquista. It is a restaurant almost at the very end of Izamal. We decided to come out here to avoid the big crowd at Kinich, the most popular restaurant in Izamal, but we've heard great things from the local people around here about La Conquista, so we're gonna check it out. But I do recommend that you either A, take a taxi if you're trying to come here at midday, because we've walked from the Centro. It's like 8 blocks, but it's so hot. Someone beer me. Let's go check it out. Recommended la carne yucateca. Reminds me a lot of the carne chinameca from Veracruz, except this one is marinated in a very special orange. It's an orange that only cultivates here in the Yucatan Peninsula. It is the sour orange. If you ever watch Sweet, Sour, and Acid on Netflix, there's a whole special on the orange that cultivates here in the Yucatan Peninsula, and it gives it a good taste because it's something I've never tasted before. I've tasted the orange itself and it's unbearable. But when you marinate it with the meats, it gives it a really good taste. And of course, the staple of the Yucatan Peninsula, the cochinita pibil, which is pork marinated over hours, fried, and it gives it a red little sauce, kind of like carnitas would be to the northern part of Mexico. Except again, they use the orange, the sour orange, to give it its taste and flavor and distinctive from everywhere else. And you have to have it with this pickled habanero red onion that gives it its distinct taste. A little bit of this tomato sauce. And let's see how it is. I normally don't eat carnitas. I'm a huge fan, but so based off my experience, the reason I like la cochinita is because I'm a big fan of barbacoa and birria. And the cochinita tends to be, for me, it's like a blend of barbacoa and cochinita and carnitas. So the taste of the barbacoa and the carnitas tastes really good and it's really juicy. So that's why when you're here, you have to try it.
Fun fact, this restaurant used to be a house. And it's so gorgeous. Check out the outside. Doesn't it remind you of like Arabic structures in a way? More and more we're noticing a particular type of arc in the architecture that is more commonly seen in the Middle East or in Arab cultures, and I started wondering if this perhaps has something to do with the Lebanese migration in the late 19th century when people from back then the Ottoman Empire were migrating, escaping religious persecution, migrated to Mexico and were known as Arabs or perhaps Turkish. But just in spite of that, there were many people who adapted really well to Mexican culture and became many successful businessmen. Actually, Kevin mentioned this in our previous episode of the Café Sufian in Acayucan, Veracruz. So if you haven't checked that one out, that's a really good story to learn more about the migration and the blend of cultures of Middle East and Mexico. So more research, we would hope to do more research to find out if that's really what I think it is, but I think it's really cool that that pattern is definitely here. There's definitely some sort of Middle Eastern influence here in the architecture, in addition, or on top of the colonial structures.
Whew, what a day. Walking around for a couple hours in this 100-degree weather definitely takes a toll on your body. My mouth is so dry. And I've had beers, ice creams, great food. I can't even tell you how much fun I had here. We highly recommend Izamal, especially to escape Merida from all the traffic. It's a beautiful town to come reflect and just hang out and listen to the loud birds.
And enjoy the architecture. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Let us know down below what you liked about Izamal. Let us know what you think about the first Pueblo Magico. Have you ever been to Izamal? Or what else would you like to see while we're around Yucatan area?
This is only our first real tour of the city that will definitely be coming back. So if you have been here, let us know what you recommend or restaurants to try all the time. And you know we love to eat.
Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And for now, I have to go shower, so me voy a bañar. Se cuidan, se bañan y nos vemos hasta la próxima. Chao.